Hello everyone, hope everything is moving on well and God is still keeping you. Yeah, God is good. He has been with us from the time we were born up to date. That's great. I know His grace is sufficient and He will continue keeping us. Today we are going to discuss something very, very, very important, something you must not miss. Please, you can miss other things, but not this one, because this one is so necessary. You need it. I need it. We need it. And it is nothing else but what we call composition writing. Composition writing. So, composition. I know you've always, used this word composition. I want to compose something. I want to do this. I want to do that. The question we are going to ask this time round is, what is a composition? What is a composition? We are going to begin our lesson from there. What is a composition? Yeah, I know you are thinking about what it is. As you think, allow me try to break down things for you. Uh, the word composition is a noun that is formed or that is derived or that is got from the verb compose. And to compose is to make or to come up with something or to form something. I think I have now tried to explain to you something that can make you come up with your own definition of the word composition. So a composition, therefore, is a formulation of words to make sentences that have got meaning or can make a meaning. I want to take you straight to the different types of compositions we have. We have what we call imaginative composition. We have expository composition. We have jumbled sentences. By the way, jumbled sentences are also compositions. Then we have narrative writing. We have guided composition. We have picture composition. We have descriptive composition. Hope now you're with me. I know out of all that you mentioned earlier, my very points have also been mentioned there. You're good. Let's move on. What do you need to have at the back of your mind in order to come up with that good composition we are talking about? One, you need good and clear handwriting. Good and clear handwriting. Let your handwriting, let the letters you write be readable. Let someone not take time to figure out what exactly you've written. Let people read your composition. Let people read your write-up with ease. 2, correct punctuation. One thing that makes students fail is improper punctuation of work. If you don't punctuate your work properly, my dear, you will lose a mark. It may not only be a mark, you may lose marks. Then your composition should be paragraphed with correct spellings. It should be paragraphed with correct spellings. You must paragraph your composition very well. And it should not have short forms and abbreviations like IE and ETC, those other ones. Because the way I understand IE as the full form may not be the way someone else does. So try as much as possible not to put abbreviations in your composition. Then another thing is your composition should have that good and correct flow of ideas. Ideas have to move chronologically, systematically. They have to move very well from idea 1 to now to 2 to 3, just like that. Then you should also use correct, you should make use of correct expressions like the proverbs and idioms if you want to make your composition interesting. Make sure you include the use of proverbs and idioms. It should not bear repetitions to avoid monotony and boredom. Because if you keep on repeating things, if you keep on repeating idioms, you keep on repeating proverbs plus some other things, you are most likely to come up with a monotonous form of expression, and that one will bring what we call boredom. And a good composition writer must be creative. Creativity is needed here. You need to come up with something that can buy the attention of someone who is going to read your composition. And follow the right tense throughout your paragraphs and use understandable language. Don't bring words that are so ambiguous, words that are really hard to understand. You will make people hate your composition. Use words that are easily understandable, words that can be understood, very well. Then always write in clear paragraphs. Write in clear paragraphs. What is a paragraph? Someone might be there and say, that I should write in clear paragraphs. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of sentences which give information on one idea. In other words, it is a number of sentences grouped together to develop a single point. So those are some hints I wanted to give you this very, very time. Yes, hope you've got that one very well. Let me move you ahead. Let's go straight to the real composition now. What do you need to have in your composition? What are the components of a composition? What are the parts of a composition? We have 4 different parts of a composition. What are those 4 parts? 1, for your composition to be called a composition, it must have what we call a title. I can also use another term to mean this same title. Heading. You can use the word theme. You can use the word topic. So these 4 words all mean the same thing. We have title, heading, theme, and topic. The same thing. That is number 1. Then the second one is what we call the introduction. You need to have the introduction. And where does the introduction fall? It falls just below the heading. Then we come to what we call the body. Then the last thing you will have in your composition is what we call the conclusion. I want to give some brief information about these 4 different parts. Let's begin with the title. What must you have in the title? First and foremost, you need to have your title printed in capital letters. And the words in the title must, be from 1 to 6. Don't go 7, 8, 9, 10 words just for a title. A title could even have only a word. You can come up with 2 words, 3, 4, up to 6. But the moment you go 7, 8 there, things will be wrong. Then it has to be brief. That is that with the title. So avoid being wordy when writing the title. Are we together? Yes, hope you are following me clearly. Then the second thing I told you about is the introduction. In your introduction, try to give the background of the story, the background of what you're going to write about. It may consist of a definition or the explanation of the theme. Still remember, we said the theme is the title or heading, or it could also be a topic. So your introduction can give a brief background of the story. And it must arouse the interest of the reader, of the examiner. So that is the introduction. Then we come to the body. The body is really the essay itself. This is where it is the house of the story, to which the introduction is at the front door and the conclusion at the back door. It tells most interesting part of the story. And you must present this in the body of your composition. This is where points are expressed in paragraphs. Remember what we said about paragraphs up there? Groups of sentences, all on one idea. So avoid the use of unnecessary words, such as repetition. Vague expressions should be stuck out completely in your body. Then we come to the last part of it, and that is the conclusion. The conclusion is the climax of the story. It is the climax, the topmost part of the, the story. As the introduction should arouse the interest, the conclusion should leave a picture in the mind of the reader. This is usually a lesson learned from the experience of the story, or a piece of advice to those who have read the story. The conclusion can be in two ways: through an appreciation. You can also appreciate as you conclude, or you can give a piece of advice to the readers. Hope you've understood. Quickly, let's run through the different parts of a composition. We said we begin with the title, then go to the introduction, bring the body, then the last thing we do there is the conclusion. Hope you've enjoyed this. Now you can go and write a very, very interesting composition. Thank you very much. Let's meet again next time.